We're in the toilet today, and the reason is that we've ordered a composting or dry toilet that is, I've just been notified, it's been dispatched. So we have ordered, after a lot of researching around the composting type toilets, we ordered the Simploo, which is the way they work is all the solids go into one compartment and the liquids go into another compartment, and that's operated by what's called a urine separator. So you've got to be a little bit more aware of what you're doing when you're doing it. So that's on its way. So we'll, in the next video we'll show you the unboxing of that and how it all works and so on. Now, when we started looking at these composting toilets, as they're commonly known, we looked at the I think it was the Nature's Head toilet, which seemed to be really popular, and it has a compartment for the solids where you put some sawdust or sort of wood shaving type pet bedding, that sort of stuff. And on the side of the container, on the side of the bucket, it has a sort of a stirrer or mixer. So you turn the handle on the side, it has some sort of metal prongs that mix it all up. But I sort of started to look at those, and I wasn't that keen on that sort of arrangement, because what you can't do is you can't put a bag inside, because then there's no way of mixing. So you can't just take the bag out, tie it up, throw it away. You have to dismantle the toilet and then put a bag over and tip it over, and then you get a bit more involved in the nitty-gritty of toilets, which is, neither one of us want to do that. So we've decided to go for the non-stirring type, where you have a container and you put a bag in it, and you can get compostable bags. So the bag goes in. A few days later, you can just take the lid off, tie it up, throw it on a compost heap, or actually put it in any old bin. So, you know, we've on site here, we've got large sort of landfill bins. There's recycling for paper, glass and plastic, but the composty type stuff, like, you know, any old garden waste, go in the landfill, which is fine. So that's the type of toilet we've chosen, and it has a urine separator. So if you imagine the toilet seat, when you sit on that, you've got a sort of a separator halfway across. So solids go behind that and urine goes in front into a separate container. So you can take the urine container out and empty that in the Elson point as normal. And I've seen about 5 or 6 people on the marina have the composting toilets, and I've got to know the shape of their urine containers. Some are clear and they carry them in a bag. Some are opaque, sort of white plastic, with a handle on top. That's a bit more discreet. But you get to know the shape of the bottles that people use for the different types of toilets you buy. The reason we didn't go for the Nature's Head was the stirrer. Didn't want that. I suppose we could have ignored that and put a bag in and done that. But also, that toilet was £1,000 or so or more. So that's a lot of money for a effectively a plastic bucket and a bottle. It's a lot of money. So okay, very nicely constructed, and you know there's extra bits on it. It comes with a fan to draw the odour out and dry the solid stuff. So yeah, there's more to it than that. So but I went on a search for a different type. Now I came across loads of different types, and people had recommended a few. There were the sort of self-assembly wooden boxes with that came with the seat and the urine separator and all the rest of it. But they were all about $280 to $350. One of those sort of simpler ones was about $700. But the Simploo was an excellent compromise, because it comes it looks like a normal toilet, so it's made out of sort of a plastic material, preformed, all nice. It looks like a modern toilet. It comes with a seat, all the internal different compartments and separators and all that, and a seat and a lid and all that, for £300. Which I thought was an excellent deal, because you know some of the self-constructed wooden boxes with the other bits and pieces were $290, and this the Simploo seemed to be the really great compromise. Anyway, that's on its way. At the moment, we have. I'm just going to point you down to what we have here. This is the toilet that we have currently, and it's the Porta Potty Elegance, and it isn't very elegant. Has a sort of press flush button there. You can fill up the flush fluid there. It has a lid and a seat. The white bit sort of lifts right off. To reveal the container underneath. So that bottom bit is the container where all your stuff gets contained. You go and empty that like a normal cassette toilet you would find in any sort of caravan or motorhome. But I thought I'd show you around the rest of the bathroom to give you an idea. Well, I'm just going to show you that side, because this is where the Simploo will go, but there's one other thing that we need to do, and that's why this bit of wood is off, because it's got a 12-volt fan to extract the air, and that is more for drying out the solids, because that's what it does. When your solids are wet, as in you mix urine with them, they tend to smell a lot more, and the reason these composting toilets don't smell is because they don't mix with urine. The solids and urine don't mix, and there's an extractor fan, little low wattage fan that just sort of blows out the moisture and any odour that there might be, but it comes out of a sort of fairly standard sort of drain pipe, so 40 mil, about that big, comes out of there. And what I thought I'd do is I'd come out of the side of the toilet and then up here behind this wall. However, I took this off so that I could take one of these panels out. I've taken that panel out, which that'll be fixed back in, but behind this wall there isn't enough space. There's only about half the space that I need to get a pipe in there to take it out and out through the roof. Also, where it goes through the roof, it'd be right on the edge of the roof where the boat comes down. So that would cause a bit of difficulty. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to run that pipe into, let's just bring you in a bit further, into here. It's going to come across at about, well, maybe this far out. It's going to go up behind this shelf and out of the roof about there. Let me just point you up to the roof there. So it's going to come out to about here. So it'll be over in the corner, and then at least I can put a sort of a box around it to hide it. You know, you don't want just general pipes just going everywhere. So it'd be nice. It's a little bit of a project to do, to get that done. So we're going to go out there. In the meantime, I might just order a filter, because you can just have a filter that's not a charcoal filter, something like that anyway. But it's, you know, it's about that big, lasts a year. So I might just order one of those from them, see how we go. But also, what I want to say is all of this side of the bathroom. So when we look over here, we've got the sort of bathroom cabinet where we keep all sorts of bits and pieces. The usual bathroom cabinet stuff, you know, cotton buds, nail brushes, creams and potions, and all the rest of it. Mirrors on the front. It's a fairly standard bathroom cabinet, but then there's this glass shelf, and down here, if I take you down that way a bit, down here we've got the sink, some bits and pieces for Pippin there, that we're just dealing with, some more creams and soaps and stuff like that, sprays and disinfectants and all that. We've got this sink, but underneath here there's more cupboards and storage. But what we want to put here eventually, when we get round to it, is a sort of front-loading washing machine, so that we can have our own onboard washing machine that we can use when we're on the canals cruising around. Now, this was already in. I mean, it's serviceable. It's serviceable, but it's not how I'd want it to be, because you know it looks a bit bitty. I think we could do a lot better with the room, with the space. It could be used in a more efficient way. I think that we could have a quite a smaller sink, a washing machine, maybe that could go, and better cupboard space going right across. You know, I've seen some much better things, and also what a lot of people do is they completely sort of replace the wood in here and tile it. So sort of standard, you know, the sort of ceramic tiles like you see on here. These are you know, just ordinary small tiles. So on the other side we've got the shower. Let me just show you around. Sort of shower curtain, fairly standard thing. We've got one of these sort of water saving with the little beads in. They're supposed to make the water better or save a bit of water. I don't know if they do. It's certainly better than the 20-year-old shower head that we had before. There is one thing about that, is that currently is a little bit heavy for the bracket up there, so you know, we have to sort of jam it in and sort of make sure it sort of stays up while we're having a shower. We've got the sort of waterproof boards here, plastic sort of, well, I think they're bathroom boards. I'm not quite sure. Going down there, and it's down below is I think what they call those is a hip bath, which is a sort of a bath that is well, it's a couple of feet tall by a couple of feet wide. It does fill up, but we have a, because the drain plug, the drain hole, is actually below the water line. So this level here, this level that you see here, is what's called the gunnel. So that the outside wall comes down here, and then the boat goes out by, you know, 3 or 4 inches and then down. So the water level is down there somewhere, and the drain for the shower is below the water level, so it has to be pumped out. Another thing I want to do while I'm playing around with getting the pipe for the extractor for the new toilet to go, there's a 12-volt fan that needs to be running sort of most of the time. So I've got 12-volt electric in this cupboard behind there, and there's a switch just here that runs the pump to pump out the shower. I'm just going to switch that on because it's actually quite noisy, because it vibrates against that wall. Because it's got some rubber feet on it, but I think it could be a bit better, and I intend to improve that maybe when we sort of renovate the bathroom. Let me switch it on. So it's not too bad, but it just isn't nice and smooth and quiet. But at least there's 12-volt electric. So what I'm going to do is use that supply, which comes from the other end of the boat, out to here. I'm going to split that off and then run the fan for the toilet and the switch for the pump. But what I'm also going to do is I'm going to move that switch from down there, because while you're in the shower, it's a real pain if if that's filling up and you've forgotten to switch that on. It'd be nice just to have a little 12-volt switch up here, you know. So that's what I'm going to do, is probably just run the wires. The wires are down there, so just run them up at that gunnel level and pop a switch in just the side of the window, so that while you're in the shower you could just reach and switch it on to pump the water out. It'd be much more convenient, I think. So that's the big news. We've got the new toilet coming. We've never really used a composting toilet before, so it's going to be all new to us. We're not going to throw this away. We're going to sort of keep it underneath. We've got a spare cassette underneath the well deck. Excuse me. So we'll probably just pop those under there as well. Give them a good clean out. Put some chemicals in to keep it all fresh, and then pop them under there, just in case we get stuck at some point with, you know, not being able to use the new toilet. I can't think why, because it's not, we won't have to use chemicals. Currently, because I can't find, it's not easy to buy the green chemicals, so we're stuck using the Elsan blue. This we get this from the marina shop, and it's not too bad a price, not the cheapest, but I know that bottles of green like this I usually buy at the motorhome shows for, I think it's £7 a bottle, and I think this is like over twice that, which is the sort of standard retail price. So I normally buy sort of 4 bottles of that green at a time if I'm at a show. So we need to get to a motorhome show. Oh, if only. So at some point we will, I guess. So that's that. So we use that chemicals. We're not going to be needing that chemical in the boat in future, but we will need it in the new motorhome. So because that's got the standard sort of cassette with the door on the outside of the motorhome, and you just pull the cassette out and empty it. Much easier than using this to sort of dismantle this, which is another reason we don't like it. And it's it's extraordinary when it gets full. I mean, you know, we try not to let it get full, but if we miss out on an emptying, it gets really heavy to carry, and it's, you know, when it does get full, you think, oh, I wish I'd emptied it before. So you have to dismantle it, you know, and make sure that it's all sort of tightly locked up, which it occasionally hasn't been. Like once I picked it up and there was a tiny little gap and a load of stuff came out, went all down my trousers. Anyway, that was fun, but so we won't have to do that anymore, and we'll be able to, you know, dispose of our waste while we're out on the canals much easier, I think, because the waste is allowed to go into a standard bin. I mean, it'll be compostable waste, and it'll be in a compostable bag, so much more green than the chemical and the Elson point. Plus, you never know when you're going to get to an Elson point. You know, you could be like filling it up and then be a whole day away from an Elson point on the canal. Because don't forget, we are only travelling at 3 miles an hour when we're chugging around, and you know, and we don't always, you know, when we're out there, the big plan for this summer, when the lockdown ends this summer, is for us to go south. So we're going to be travelling south to get down as far south as we possibly can, so that maybe some of the family can come and see us on the boat. Excuse me. Yeah, so that's what we've got planned. All sorts of other bits and pieces still to do. It is, some of you have been asking about the little damp patches on the ceiling and whether they're leaks or, you know, what's happening. I can confirm without a doubt that the ones on the ceiling are not leaks, it's condensation. So there are a few patches where there are holes in the ceiling, like the speaker hole. There's a lack of proper insulation in that area, so of course more condensation can form. So what we've got to do is just get some insulation, like the rock wall stuff, and just keep on poking it in there until it's all full up. So give it a lot more insulation, block up that hole, get a wooden plate to put in there, and then I think that'll be that done. I've also got some other electrical work to do, but I'm just going to show you that. We've got some lights on the wall, but let me take you in to the lounge and show you what we've got and what I plan to do. So we've got these old styly lights on the wall. I've taken one down already to fit in my sort of shelving unit and cupboards here. So this is all my sound equipment in here, in this little cubby hole. Somebody was intrigued that what was on these shelves up here. They're puzzles, basically. We've got puzzles there, we've got puzzle here. We'll tell you more about the puzzles in another one. So, but these lights, I don't know if you can see that in there. That's 12-volt cable. So what I'm going to do with there is put over there a sort of an extra piece of wood to make it a little bit more decorative, maybe, and then wire in some 12-volt USB ports. So I'll have a couple down there, so I can do a bit of 12-volt charging down there, and then this one is exactly the same, and I'm going to do the same there. So I'll have I'll maybe put a plate over that, you know, a sort of wooden piece of wood over that, put that in place. I might recess that in and just try and sort of make it sort of match in if I can, and then maybe run those cables down the wall, because this is sort of the lounge position where I'm sitting, and maybe put some 12-volt charging points down here, because there's never enough 12-volt charging. Wherever we are, we seem to be always charging up 12-volt things. We seem to have loads and loads of stuff to charge up. I'd also like, because this week I've also had a problem with one of these, which is my laptop. That's my laptop charger, power supply, and that the cable on the other one sort of really frayed and started to break apart, and I wasn't able to charge my laptop up for a whole day, and I pretty much use the laptop every day for doing stuff. I use it for editing the videos. I use it for, you know, proper emailing stuff in and out, for sound editing, making music tracks and stuff like that. So it was a vital piece of equipment. But there we are. That's what we're doing. That's the big news for this week. Isn't it awful? The big news for this week is that we're getting a new toilet. Anyway, so that's it from us this week. Wendy's making puzzles, aren't you, Wen?
I am sitting here doing a puzzle. Pippin's wrapped up in a blanket. Yeah.
So that's what we're doing. It's quite a nice bright day as I make this video. It is it's about 3:30 in the afternoon. So and look at the bright sunshine coming through. It's lovely, isn't it? We're off out for a walk in a minute. We'll see you again next time. Bye bye.